All right. We are online and we are at it. Another edition of the Rob, Comrade, and Kale show. Jacked up to do the show tonight, gentlemen. A lot of this is what we're going to get into tonight spawns off of Kale's video from the other day. So, yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to that. I've also got a number that is interesting just to me. Maybe not to everybody else, that we'll talk about in a little bit. But we will go ahead and get started. By the way, Kale, I've got an idea for something that might be cool for your YouTube channel.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk about it. It's the idea is to bring talk about the traditions from around the teams from the SEC and the ACC, and I'm thinking about doing some interviews with like people that know the traditions for, South Carolina, Clemson, Virginia, whatever, and and then go from there. But just talk about some of the traditions that we don't know anything about, like the midnight, whatever the hell they call the thing they do with Texas A&M, the story behind that.
The yell call, yelling the.
Yeah. Midnight yell.
But wouldn't you like to know the story behind that, though? I mean, seriously, it would be kind of interesting, right? And like, here's a perfect example. And we'll get into the actual the dialogue of the podcast in a second. But LSU wears white uniforms at home. Do you know why?
No.
No. Because in 1958, Paul Diesel, they won the national title, and he thought they looked good. So that's why they wear white at home. They're like, there's only two teams in the Power Five that wear all white at home. One of them is LSU. The other one is Georgia Tech. There you go. Yeah. Look at Kale knowing some shit. Way to go, Kale. But yeah, I just thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about
they don't always do it though.
From what I gather, they do all of their stuff in white at home. That's what
Georgia Tech, they don't always do it, or they haven't. Yeah? So they do sometimes, I think. But LSU is the one more known for that.
Yeah, well, I just think it's kind of funny because of
I knew some shit.
Well, no, not that. Just Paul Diesel, of course, coached at South Carolina, and coached at South Carolina after the whole thing at LSU. So that's what's made me think about that. Anyway, let's get into the show. Welcome in to the latest edition of the Rob, Comrade, and Kale Show. I am Rob Sanders, your host. Represent the Clemson Tigers on this podcast. Winners of 2 of the last 4 national titles. I have a couple of co-hosts. We'll start with the most hated man in Facebook, and I think he's drawing some hate on Twitter. What's wrong, Kale? What's wrong, Kale? Talk to me, Kale. What's wrong?
What's terrible, Kale? Like, I can't hear you good. You're like, your voice is like, did that crazy shit.
I don't know why it's doing that, but maybe
I don't know.
Crazy. Why don't you leave and come back, and we'll see if that fixes it. Because I haven't changed any settings, so try that. Jump back on. See if that'll fix it. There we go. Comrade, welcome to the show.
It's good to be here. It's good to be a Gamecock, and I am proud of my alma mater. Not everyone can say that. Nuke Hopkins won. He can't say that, and I feel for people like that right now. I hope at some point that Nuke can feel proud of where he went to college anyway. I know he's proud of his high school. So, but it's good to be here. It's good to be here. It's good to be proud of my alma mater, and hopefully Nuke Hopkins one day can be proud of his.
Of course, we also have the bald man in the upstate. Kale Hall joins us. Kale, how are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Hump day, halfway through the work week. My second favorite night of the week, Wednesday night. Good to be able to hang out here, and hopefully we'll have some interesting callers tonight with some interesting things to discuss.
Yeah, it was kind of fun having some callers the other day. So that was kind of cool. But I tell you what, I thought that I enjoyed the callers. So we'll take some calls here in a moment. But first, we got to take care of our sponsors. Of course, Callaway's Bar and Grill in West Columbia, Highway 1, diagonal from the Walmart. We appreciate them and what they bring to the show. Go by and check them out, Callaway'sBarandGrill.com. And, of course, DNC Trucking and Transport, the No Spin Zone segment with the Comrade. Comrade, read away.
It sucks to be a Gamecock. I wish I had a man with the character that Dabo Swinney has to run my football program. Do you want to know how well respected Coach Swinney is by his players? This is what all-pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins said. One thing I do know, Coach Swinney has never been a racist or had any ill will towards any player. Best coach I've ever been around from a football perspective and personal perspective. He helped me become a man and grow from being a kid from Central South Carolina. Whenever I post about Swinney, please respond with a 7. The amount of losses my team will have at the end of the season, and the amount of consecutive losses my team will have to Clemson. I am the reason Cale Hall pisses in his sink. It is utterly shameful to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
That message, courtesy of Dennis Wilson, DNC Trucking and Transport. Go ahead, Cale.
I'd like to point out, talk to the Paul down in the YouTube comment section, says, like beating Vanderbilt is much of an accomplishment. I'm not really sure what the conversation surrounding that particular statement was, but apparently it would be for you guys because
that's true. They own you.
lead the overall series against you, so
they own you.
Kind of like with Kentucky. They kind of bend you over and give you a good old spanking every time they see you. So
own you.
Not own that Paul. That was soap a little bit.
Own that Paul. Own it.
Clemson would go into Vanderbilt Stadium and lose by 3 touchdowns.
Probably.
Easily. They're
afraid to play them. That's pretty clear. They schedule all these other SEC teams. Won't schedule Vandy.
I mean, they almost beat Notre Dame once.
That's true. That is true. So it doesn't matter. They don't count. Jordan Bowman. We haven't played Vanderbilt since the 60s. Yeah? And your point? Because you've been afraid of them. They kicked you around and you didn't want to play anymore. You know,
nobody's fucking scared of Vanderbilt. Shut up.
Apparently, you guys are. And you're afraid. And you're afraid of Mike. Not scared. And you're afraid of Mike Bobo. You wouldn't schedule George after Bobo. And now you have no choice. And now you're hoping the COVID.
You're scared. You're scared of Kentucky too. That's why y'all are sucking.
Yeah, don't schedule Kentucky. Don't even schedule Tennessee. They own you.
Wow! Goddamn!
All facts.
Let me put
hey,
this out
last
there.
week some guy goes in here easy with a GD. You know, apparently Dabo Swinney. There are 2 words that you can't say around Dabo Swinney. Allegedly, the N-word. Yep. The N-word, which I mean, barely. Whatever. You can't say the N-word. You can't say GD around him.
Right.
So. That's the 2 things. Now, if you say it not in his presence and then tell him after later, he kind of gives you a pass, but don't say it around him.
Yeah, all right. Well, I'm not buying into all that, but whatever. We're not here to we're trying to give people an escape, man. Is that all right with you? Can we give people an escape this evening?
You wrote a script about the whole thing. Now you hold on.
I didn't write it. Dennis Wilson did.
Don't sit there and go, that's classic Rob. Okay, I thought no, we could have stepped on about now. No.
Wait a minute. God damn it. Dennis Wilson wrote the script. I didn't write it. He paid good money for that. Here's what you do. Find a Gamecock sponsor to sponsor the show that actually gives a shit.
David
Butts, we'll go that route.
David Butts was going to do it, but his girlfriend would not allow him. Real thing. Not his wife, his girlfriend.
Exactly. It was too steep for him. By the way, we could talk a lot of shit all we want, but every year when Dennis Wilson sponsored this show forever, by the way, from DNC Trucking and Transport, I send Dennis Wilson an invoice. He fucking pays it. He doesn't have to ask anybody. He just pays it. So take notes, Gamecock fans. Yeah. There you go with that. Anyway,
he does, and I bet he goddamn tips a Papa John's driver pretty damn well too.
You goddamn right he does. He doesn't forget it. He doesn't forget the little people. That's not how things work with Clemson fans. Yeah, there we go. So anyway, gentlemen, tonight I thought we would. Kale, by the way, put out a great video on the YouTube channel Carolina Jackpot. Before we take calls this evening, I thought we would go over if South Carolina was with North Carolina right now was a better program than South Carolina. I wanted to take a trip back in history for just a second first, though. So let's start with the Gamecocks. Just some numbers here, and I'm being as neutral as I possibly can be here. But according to several different sources here, South Carolina's all-time winning percentage is 51%. Bowl record is at 9-4, 1 conference title, 1 division title, 1 Heisman Trophy winner, 6 consensus All-Americans. So there you go with that. When we look at North Carolina overall, they have, according to my numbers here, and when we look at the numbers up at the top here, North Carolina's all-time record is that they've won 56% of the time, a 15-19 bowl record, 9 conference titles, 1 division title, and they have 14 consensus All-Americans. They do not have a Heisman Trophy winner. South Carolina, famous players that played there include Sterling Sharp, an absolute beast. You also have Jadeveon Clowney, a number 1 pick in the draft. Stephon Gilmore, who is without a doubt the best defensive back in the NFL. I have no problem admitting that. A hell of a fine player there. And you've got some other guys that have come through. I'm not trying to, overlook anyone, but I would think, well, okay, but who would you like to add, Mike?
I'm not saying they're fine.
Who would you like to add?
You're fine.
Are you fine? Are you fine with those 3, Mike? I think those are 3 really good representations. And we can add Marcus Lattimore to the list because Marcus Lattimore is a hell of a player too.
The great Dan Reeves. Put up the great Dan Reeves. The great Dan Reeves.
Would you like to have Dan Reeves?
America's team.
Sure.
Coach.
Sure.
I mean, took teams to Super Bowls. I mean.
Sure. Do you want Dan Reeves there? You can have Dan Reeves. That's fine. For
Reeves?
North Carolina, I've got for a couple of players that Julius Peppers played there, one of the better defensive ends of the 90s, 2000s, I guess is when he played. You also had Lawrence Taylor, probably one of the best defensive players of all time. Can we agree on that? Some other guys that, I think Lawrence Taylor was pretty goddamn good, Mike. I'm not going to sit here and try to
had a cocaine problem
with you on that.
Had a cocaine
problem like George Rogers.
I know, but I'm saying you don't bring up a Lawrence Taylor, but Lawrence Taylor
you didn't give me a chance.
Okay, I'm just saying. Usually you do. We usually make all the jokes,
right?
Cocaine jokes. So because you're jealous of the Heisman. So here's my thing: if you win a Heisman, you can do cocaine. That's my rule. That's my rule right there. Okay.
If you win, is that a comrade rule?
You get a pass in the cocaine.
Kale, do you agree with that? If you do Heisman, you can do. If you win a Heisman, you can do cocaine.
You get a
cool
pass.
Kale?
You get a pass from being.
You can pretty much do anything you want.
Or if you get a number 1 draft pick, number 1 draft pick, and win the Heisman in both, your cocaine habit. You cannot pick on the cocaine habit. I'm not saying it's right to do it. I'm just saying you can't pick on that. That's the rule. Okay. Now, if you're a kicker,
so
for a Clemson team, that's different. You do cocaine, you can mock that.
God damn. Anyway, that's the comrade rule. We should start the comrade rules. It's just bullshit that comrade comes up with that are rules. That comrade, are you up for that? We should
Sure.
we'll keep a running tally. I've got a nice board over here my wife was using when she was teaching. We'll just put comrade rules up there. Cocaine, okay, for Heisman Trophy winners. Got
Okay,
it.
Rob.
There's the comrade rule
Why
for
don't we
tonight.
do a little exercise here?
All right.
Why don't we
What you
run
got?
through a little exercise here? I'm gonna give you the Gamecock schedule, and you're gonna pretend this is North Carolina playing this schedule instead of the Gamecocks. You tell me win or
Okay.
loss, and we're gonna see where we end up. What would they have us at around 5 wins? I think pretty much is the.
I think 5 wins is
6.
fair.
5, 6.
Yeah, so we're going with North Carolina's schedule.
North
Yeah,
Carolina
all right, go ahead.
playing this schedule. Coastal Carolina at home.
I think North Carolina wins.
Okay, that's 1. East Carolina at home.
I think North Carolina wins.
Okay, 2. Missouri at home.
I think North Carolina wins.
Okay, 3. At Kentucky.
I think Kentucky wins.
Okay, we got 3. At Florida.
I think Florida wins.
Okay, 3 still. Tennessee at home.
That's your boy.
I think
That's your
Tennessee
boy.
wins.
Here we go.
Okay. Texas A&M at home.
I think North Carolina wins that game.
Oh, interesting. Okay. At Vanderbilt.
North Carolina wins.
At home against Georgia.
That's a loss.
At LSU.
That's a loss.
Okay. Wofford at home.
That's a win.
And then at Clemson.
That's a loss. So what I finish with,
Okay,
Kale?
so
6?
They're 6 and 6.
Yep.
We had the Gamecocks going again this year. 5
Yeah,
and 7.
that's what I got.
You got the
5 and
Gamecocks going
7.
what? 5 and 7.
That's fair.
Right.
I don't know about that.
I'm just
I don't know about
Kale asked me. I gave you my honest opinion. Look, I'm not talking about do you want to flip and do South Carolina playing North Carolina?
Yeah,
We
let's
can
do
look at
that.
that schedule real
Sure.
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Yep.
knock that out. Let me pull that up
That's
really quick here.
11 and 1
I'll
probably.
good one.
I'll run that one off for you, or you give that one to me. I'll run it off. And
Yeah, I got it for you right here, Kale. I'm pulling it up right now.
okay.
Yeah, well, I thought that I was objective in mind. Would you agree, Kale?
I don't know.
Yes.
I was objective. Yeah, all right. At UCF for South Carolina.
Loss.
Auburn in Atlanta at a neutral site.
Loss.
James Madison at home.
Blowout.
I'll give us a win, but that could be dangerous. What?
Georgia Tech at home. I didn't say
that's a
anything.
win.
Georgia Tech at home. You got 1 win so far. 2 wins.
That's a win.
Virginia on the road.
Will we destroy them?
That's 3 wins. Shut up. You didn't score the last time you played Virginia. Shut your dick sucker. Virginia Tech in at home.
I say we lose.
All right. So still stuck at 3 wins. Duke on the road.
That's a win.
All right. That's 4. Miami on the road.
I think we lose that game.
UConn at home.
Destroy them.
I think we take revenge on them there.
Revenge game.
All right, that's 5 wins so far.
Yeah.
Pitt at home. You win that one?
Shit. You're gonna have to
See, Kale's a realist. He has to think about it.
You're gonna have to give me a half on that one. So I'm not sure. I mean, I know their
I
quarterback
can't give you a half.
is going to be improved this year, and they had their give me a win.
The game's at home, Kale. All right,
Give
so
me a win.
that's 6 wins. Boston College.
The thing that concerns,
Boston
concerns me, they have a really good pass rush.
What?
That's a win.
Yeah. Boston College is a win. NC State at home. So you go into Boston College and winning, and you beat NC State. So you think I've got you at 7 wins according to you, 7-5 this season.
That's about right.
But let's take all of that out of the perspective for just a second. Over the past decade, I can make the argument that South Carolina is a better football program than North Carolina. I think that's a fair statement. Would you both agree on that? Over the past decade, just the past, since 2010, South Carolina is better than North Carolina. We can agree on that, right?
Not close.
I agree with you. It's not even close. What did South Carolina have? Like they had 4 seasons. They finished in the top 10, something like that. What's this with Mike?
That was 3 in a row.
Yeah. So they are 3. Okay. But still, North Carolina was a shithole for a good period of time. But I'm asking about where the programs are right now. And I want you guys to be as objective as you possibly can be. And we'll start with Kale. Kale, do you think that South Carolina right now is better than North Carolina? Which program do you think has the beacon for the future? Kale, you go first.
North Carolina. I mean, all you got to do is look at the recruiting, my friend. Look at the recruiting. Look at the upward trajectory of the program. They have an offensive identity.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just better. I mean, as of right now, they're better. Now, those things can ebb and flow. I mean, this time last year, we had a better program. So, I mean, it doesn't take give it the right person, the right personnel, the right mindset. Things can change quickly.
Well, Comrade, which program do you think is better right now?
Right now, this day, now, slightly UNC I'd probably take. Slightly. But that's not like a change by week 5.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, and I think that when you really stop and look at it, just what North Carolina has done and what Kale said makes a lot of sense. Kale said that things can change at a drop of a hat, but I think it's going to be a little bit harder for South Carolina based simply on the recruiting with where their 2021 class is. And Kale, you made a great point on your YouTube video the other day where you talked about North Carolina has a lot of guys that are 4-star players or better. They're not like Tennessee where they're signing 28 players. They've got a consistent star number where they're getting a lot of talent pumped into that program, right?
Yep. And this, I mean, you talk about, you just talk about going in this year. Just talk about the cover, just being there. This is the Athlon Sports SEC cover that we have in our area for South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. This man, 400 and something yards receiving last year. That's
Shy
our cover.
Smith. Yeah.
That's our cover. That's what we have. And 75 of that came in one damn chunk. We don't have any production coming back. It's scary, man. It's scary.
What about shit. Hold on now. No, I'm trying to be the not trying to piss in your sink, Kale, but the secondary for South Carolina, I think is exactly. You'll move over. We could sword fight, Kale. What do you think? We'll sword fight in your sink. It'll be all right. But I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. Anyway, no, but let's seriously though. And I think the comrade will agree with me on this. You've got some guys in the secondary that aren't that bad. I mean, if I had to look at a strength for the Gamecocks, I would say the secondary was probably the strength. Would you agree, Mike?
They should be good. I mean, on paper, they're pretty good.
I agree. If we could play Jake Fromm 12 times this year and throw us 3 picks, take one back for a pick 6, and play like ass the rest of the game. Hell, here we go. Punch our ticket to the damn playoffs. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Well, I do think that if I'm looking for goodness in South Carolina, that's pretty much what I got. I mean, but as of right now,
I think the offense this year will be better than it was last year, but it's not going to be as talented as it was last year. So I think that it's the production that you see from it is going to be about the same, because those are going to cancel each other out. And that production was piss poor.
Well, but
and I'm afraid that's what we're looking at.
I'm not trying to be the Michael Dobreski of this show, because this show can only handle so much asshole. But Mike's got a point with retro works, and if you can't spread out and have the athletes to run a spread offense, why not line up with a fucking fullback and try to run? I mean, I kind of agree with Mike on that. I'm not necessarily saying it's going to work, because I don't know how good your offensive line is, but it's, I mean, I can respect Muschamp for looking at his offense and saying, we don't have the athletes to do that, so let's try to do something else. And I just don't know if that offensive line is going to be able to carry the Gamecocks this season. It doesn't look right.
It's all mentality. And Marshawn Lloyd is special. Now, I'm going to be real quick about recruiting real quick, okay? The recruiting numbers, let's kind of pump the brakes on this, okay? There have been a record number of commitments right now. All right, most experts agree, and I'm not a recruiting expert, but most experts agree that a lot of these kids have done so to reserve a spot so they have somewhere to go, that most of them are still looking, that most of these commitments are unlike, in past years, are less, committed than normal, okay? And so the Gamecocks right now rankings are horrible. They got 7 commitments, I think, or 8. I forgot now. But if the Gamecocks can get off to a good start, which they should, they've got 4 games to win, and turn momentum around, those guys who are looking at Carolina, who are committed elsewhere, who are not afraid to commit here because of the hot seat talk, if the Gamecocks can get off to a good start and turn momentum, a lot of those kids Muschamp can pick back up. Okay, so the whole recruiting thing, that's been set in stone. A lot of guys, like Tennessee, for example, a lot of those guys put into Tennessee are not what you call stone cold lock commitments. Okay, they're there as a play setting, as a reservation. I just want to caution people on that. When that happens,
I did bring up the point that I feel like the number of decommitments this year is going to be huge,
record highs. It'd be a record high.
Because nobody took any visits from the beginning of March on, and they're not going to be able to take any visits to any of these places until basically the start of football season. So that's a long time to change your mind.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And I think there's going to be a segment of folks that are going to move around. Kale, you were damn right on that. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and open it up. We'll take some calls here at 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. If you would like to get involved with the program, call up. We'll talk to you. It was interesting. Sunday night, we had folks calling us from Texas and every damn where else, but you're welcome to call and join us here on the Rob Comrade and Kale Show, as I have just opened up the phones. We appreciate it if you want to give us a call, 803-470-2905. All right, so with that, though, I think we all agree North Carolina is right where a lot of programs want to be that are trying to build themselves up, but they did it, and they came from being an utter shithole, because that's where they were under Larry Fedora. And then all of a sudden they're they're turned it around, man. I mean, Mac Brown really has hit the ground running, and he is doing a stellar job up there. So if you're a Gamecock fan, there's our first call. We will be – what's that?
It's a shelf life, though. Mac Brown's old, okay? So, like, whatever magic he's doing right now has a shelf life
Right.
because he's not going to be around forever.
Caller, go ahead. Caller, go ahead. Oh, caller. I know that you can hear us, caller. Have at it. We are waiting for you here. Let me make sure that we are sending. Let's try this right here. There we go. Caller, can you hear us? Yeah, what you got, caller? Go ahead. Comrade Kale, did you hear that?
I cannot hear him.
No.
All right. Well, he asked if the talent difference is so big with South Carolina and Clemson that you could Clemson could beat them with a walk-on quarterback. Your thoughts on that?
No. I think quarterback is probably one of the main talent gaps you have is your quarterback play over the past few years. You look back at the game, the Perry Orth game, but you guys should have lost that game. The reason why you won that game was Deshaun Watson. If you have anybody else but Deshaun Watson playing that game or Trevor Lawrence, I know he wasn't there yet, but an elite quarterback could lose that game.
If you had Cole Stout out there,
Cole Stout, you lose that game. Kelly Bryant, you lose that game. God bless him, Kelly Bryant.
Chad Kelly.
Poor kid was lied to his whole life.
Caller, are you still there? All right, talk to me for a second. I want to make sure that I think the folks can still hear you over in the chat. What makes you think that Clemson has so much talent they can win with a walk-on quarterback? All right. Well, there you go with that. Are you folks? You still can't hear the caller. I'm working my way around that. Caller, thanks for chatting with us today, man. Where are you calling us from, man? We'd love to. Where are you calling us from, brother? Oh, you're up there in Anderson. That's pretty cool, man.
Oh, home with Jim Rice.
Yeah, that's great, buddy. Well, hey, I appreciate you checking out the show, buddy. Thanks so much.
And milk.
Enough. Well, there you go. Did you guys hear any of that call?
No. Neither did the people in the comment section.
Well, fuck me. Well, anyway, I'm gonna try to call into the show myself.
They heard that.
Gentlemen, do you think Clemson could line up and just do whatever they wanted at any other time?
No.
You think that's possible?
Nope.
Yeah, well, I don't know either. It's interesting. Yeah, let me hang up on this gentleman here, and I'm gonna try to call into the show myself and then see if we can just go that route because I'm getting upset with my Google Voice here. So, but I don't think that it's that far. By the way, I'm just saying it's a little different. So let's see here. Yo. You think the caller's lost his mind there, Mike? What do you think?
I think he's being an idiot. I mean, he's just trying to rub people's noses in it and trying to, whatever. That's fine. I'll probably do the same shit if I was him. I'm not going to sit there and bash him. But, it's dumb. It isn't that big of a gap. I'm sorry. I mean, there's a gap up front, obviously, but the whole walk-on quarterback thing's stupid. Trust me. Who the hell is Chris Hodge, by the way?
You could do it against certain teams.
Who's this dude? Chris Hodge. Comrade, your takes suck. Jackass.
Your what?
I'm reading the comments. Who is that? Where did Rob go?
hear me on the phone?
He's going to call into the show.
I can barely hear you.
Well, okay. Well, anyway, that's an interesting take, though, from some folks. As I'm trying to set this up for some reason. Let me change my settings here for a second. As we roll along here, we work the technicalities out of this thing. Everything's going to be fine. But let's see here. Anyway, that's an interesting take from the caller. I don't think that I think he was being real though, Mike.
I couldn't hear his tone. He probably was, he's from Anderson. Only person from Anderson worth a damn is Jim Rice. So, I don't know.
Oh, and Chris Driver.
But as I said, the only person worth a damn from Anderson is Jim Rice.
Oh, okay. I tried to help him a guy out. So damn.
Hello. Well, we're working around it here as we move along on the Rob Conrad and Kale show. I tested this earlier and everything was fine. And it's crazy. So callers aren't able to hear me there. I appreciate that, guys. Damn it. Comrade, did you have something that you wanted to talk about on the show today? We had a prominent Atlanta Braves player die, right?
Oh, that's true too. Claudell Washington passed away today. It's funny. That part's not funny, but my dad. Okay, long story. My dad lives in Arizona. Okay, in Phoenix, Arizona, Tempe by ASU. He goes to ASU baseball games when there are ASU baseball games. So tonight's Major League Baseball draft, and the number one draft pick was projected and actually went to be from ASU. He's a first baseman, and he's like the sixth ASU player to go number one overall. Barry Bonds, Reggie Jackson, and supposed to be a stud. Like they say that he could probably play in the major leagues right now. He won't, of course, because the Tigers will bleed him of his service. Anyway, we were talking, and he brought Bob Horner from ASU, and he went number one overall. And so my dad was talking about Bob Horner, okay, and what kind of career he had, if he was a bust or not. And I said he was really good, but he kind of got hurt his wrist, and he kind of got old quick. And so I was showing my dad old Bob Horner YouTube videos. And on those videos was Claudell Washington. And about an hour after I got done watching the videos with my dad back and forth, I found out Claudell Washington died. So it was kind of surreal in that sense. So he passed away. Washington played for 7 teams. Underrated ball player. He was in the Braves teams back in the early 80s, and the Braves got good for a little while there back in 81. Not 81 so much, 82, 83.
Yeah.
He was on those teams that won the AL West or NL West. And really good ball player, kind of guy that always kind of goes on winning teams. He's on the A's in the 70s. Good teams pick him up, one of those guys. And so he passed away.
For the Yankees, too.
Played for the Yankees for a while, yep. But real good ball player. But he passed away today. I was pretty sad thing to see. But
hey, Comrade.
Braves, yep.
Comrade.
Yes.
Oh, good. So you can hear me talking on my phone now. What year did he start with Braves? Do you remember?
I think he came to the Braves in the 81 season, I believe, which was a weird season. I believe it was his first year. I think it was the off season after the 80 season he came to the Braves. And, of course, the 82-83 Braves won the NL West. I keep saying NL West. Gee, Lord. NL West, but he was a kind of key part of that team.
Yep.
Of course, the 82 team was the team that won all those games to roll the season off. And, of course, the 83 season, they didn't win the West. They came close. They're a good team. And then the 83 season, they won the West, too. Lost to the Phillies.
Yep.
Yeah, so back-to-back.
All right,
Dale Murphy, back-to-back MVP seasons. But he was a big part, though, in Murphy getting the MVP because he kind of gave Murphy more protection. And Murphy had a good tweet today, too, about kind of saying that, 7 teams, and he's pretty sure that he was a clubhouse favorite in all 7 teams. He's one of those guys, real good clubhouse guy and stuff. So kind of a sad day for old-time Braves fans. And, I remember watching them play a lot. We didn't have cable until 1987, okay?
Right.
And so we used to go to my grandfather's house in Syracuse. He had cable. And we wouldn't go there for cable. We'd go there to go see him. And, of course, my sister was all about MTV. And I was all about watching baseball games. So TBS, the Braves, I watched those old highlights of Colorado Welsh, I think, in my grandfather's living room and watched some Braves games. My grandfather also got Nesson, the Red Sox channel, too. So I flicked back and forth the old little this little thing. It's like this box he had that you just kind of move the lever to change the channels. And so I remember those old Braves games and Braves teams, and so that too. So kind of a sad day for the baseball world.
We used to have a satellite dish back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the mid '80s, satellite dish, and I mean, you could get anything on there. I've talked about it before. I mean, you could get all the big channels all over the country. I could watch the Braves play, the Montreal Expos, and watch the French broadcast. I mean,
that would be cool.
How much the shit could pick up. I had picked up porn channels too, man.
Everybody loves the porn, Cam.
Yeah.
That was one of called the Tuxedo Network.
What I love, Cal, my buddy,
lots of Bush back then too.
But my buddy had a satellite dish in Pennsylvania. I go to see him sometimes, and he had a dish, and the cool thing is we watch like all these NBA games, okay?
Yeah.
And any NBA game we wanted to. And the cool thing is they didn't go to commercial. So they would go to commercial, but the satellite dish would stay on, and you could hear the announcers talking like during the break. And sometimes you hear them say, yeah, I got to get something to eat. You gotta, see that girl in the front row? You'd hear the conversations. It was the greatest thing. And plus you can get porn. That was also a big thing too. When my friends' parents were asleep, you put the porn on. You get wrestling, tons of NBA games. So yeah, good time. The dish.
Well, there was a lady, anchor lady for the Spartanburg Channel 7 up here a long time ago that got let go. She had been there for years because they went to go to a commercial break. But I guess the tape machines didn't stop rolling or whatever. Something happened, and she made the blurb or whatever about the studio being made the comment it's too hot to fuck in here, and they heard it. They fired her, and then she ended up getting hired by the Greenville station, the Channel 4. So it was
the temperature was just right. Yeah,
yep. Damn it.
Yeah.
I want to pivot back to football for just a minute, gentlemen, if that's okay with you. Something I was thinking about today. I think the days of Notre Dame being a powerhouse in football are over. The more and more I look, especially when you look at the schedule that Notre Dame has, where they don't really do home and homes with anybody. If you look at their they play some ACC games, but they don't do a lot of ACC home games. They're playing Georgia Tech in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. NC State, they're playing in Charlotte. I think that, and I bring that up because I think it's getting to a point now where if Notre Dame doesn't join a conference, I think the days of Notre Dame being the big Billy Badass team are over. What do you think about that, Cale?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What's up? I don't understand what's up with the schedule, and I don't understand their schedule with the ACC teams or the agreement they have there. It's just all strange to me.
Well, I think these teams. Let me read you their schedule.
They're going to get better. The ACC teams are going to get better over time, so it's going to make that even worse for them. And then they've got traditional rivalries with teams like USC and Stanford, and Michigan, these teams that can be really good in a given year. So yeah, I mean I can see that. It'll be hard for them.
I'll say this right now. I think Brian Kelly is underrated. And I think Notre Dame fans eventually are going to think that he's not doing a good job because he can't quite get us over the top. And they're going to do the Tennessee Philip Fulmer move. And they're going to hire someone else. And then they're going to get the reality suck in there. That's a hard job to win at. And they're going to be praying to bring Brian Kelly back. Okay? I think he's a great coach. And I think the fact that he has them relevant, I'd say they're pretty relevant, okay? I think that's a really tough job in this day and age, and he's done a great job. And I guarantee you, eventually they're going to part ways, either mutually or they're going to fire him and think, man, listen, man, we're Notre Dame. We're supposed to win national titles. He hasn't done it for us yet. And they're going to go hire somebody else, a normal coach, and they'll be a 5-6, 6-5, 6-6 team every damn year. And then they go, damn, I wish we had, like Tennessee do the Fulmer. And, so, and I'm not saying that Will Muschamp should go. I'm not saying that at all. But, if Muschamp does have to go one day, I wouldn't mind seeing Brian Kelly slide in to that seat in Columbia. Okay? I don't mind seeing that little slide on in.
But they put themselves up there in this elite group. But, I mean, if you want to be frank about it, it's been almost 50 fucking years since they were like perennial national championship contenders. I know they won it one year with Lou Holtz.
Big Lou.
And they may have went back to another one.
They should have. In 93, they should have won it, but Glenn Foley of Boston College got them. That 93 team was really, really good. That was probably their best, even though they won in 88, I think it was. I think the 93 team was a better team, but they had one bad day, man. And in the playoff era, I think they had the 4-team playoff back then. They get in the 4-team playoff, they probably win it all. But they had one bad night, one bad day in Chestnut Hill and Boston College, and that's all she wrote.
I'm looking at Notre Dame's stuff here, and it's not 50 fucking years, but it's damn near 30. I mean, Kale's right on with that, man.
It's been a long time. Talk about when Joe Montana, 78, 79. I mean, it's been a long time since they've been
Joe
really.
Theismann, who changed his name to Theismann to rhyme with a Heisman, and he didn't win the damn thing. Change your damn pronunciation of your name, and you still didn't win it. That's pretty funny. Wow.
803-470-2905. The schedule for Notre Dame this year, I want to give you these. They were supposed to play in Ireland to open the season against Navy. Then they had Arkansas at home. They've rescheduled. They're going to play at Annapolis now. Then they have Western Michigan at home. They play Wake Forest in Charlotte. Yeah, Wake Forest in Charlotte. Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. That's interesting.
I heard they're going to move that
Stanford
game.
at home.
I heard they're going to move that game.
Maybe. Duke at home. Clemson at home. Georgia Tech in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Louisville at home. And Southern Cal on the road. I look at that schedule, and it's like they're not really playing any road games. They've got, one road game on the season, basically, with Southern Cal. The rest are at neutral sites, and I think we all agree neutral site games suck ass.
So they're going to play 3 games in NFL stadiums, and then they're going to play in Navy's little shitty stadium.
Well, I heard that
they didn't have a choice.
It came out today.
Mike.
It came out today or yesterday. Notre Dame is pulling back on the NFL stadium games. That they're gonna change those sites to home games because I think they're kind of pulling away from more on campus games. So I'm not. That's why I heard that the Green Bay Packer Lambeau Field game with Wisconsin.
Yep.
I heard that game is going to be changed to Notre Dame home game. And, of course, the Ireland game is out there too. But I heard they're trying to get away from the NFL stadium stuff, which is smart because I don't understand why you do that. The whole appeal of college football is the campus. And, I like the NFL, don't get me wrong. I like the gambling NFL. NFL is a great gambling sport. But in terms of just watching the game, NFL is great because you're watching the best of the best play. Skilled quarterbacks, receivers, speed. But the ambiance, the environment's not anything whatever. The college game, that's what that has. You watch a sold out game on campus, and that's a big thing. So I'm not sure why, as a college program, you want to go ahead and take that away and play more neutral site games. I know why they do it. They do it for money. Okay, they do it for money. But I just think it kills. It's not good for the sport. I mean, it makes me not want to watch. I mean, I'll watch the game, but it makes me less excited to watch the game on TV.
Let's see here. Let's see if we can get a couple of calls before we leave tonight. 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. If you would like to call and join us on the show this evening, 803-470-2905. I'm not into the whole thing of the neutral site games. I just don't get it. But I'm in the camp with, and this is just something that has come to me, is like Notre Dame's not that impressive anymore. Let's see if we can head out to the phones. And good evening, caller. Welcome into the show. And where the caller is there. Hello, caller. Make sure that we have the caller here and we can hear the caller. Hold on one second there, caller, as we get our system set up here. All right, caller, go ahead. Hey, man, how you doing? Can you guys hear the Texas A&M fan?
Barely.
Better than, yeah.
All right, well, go ahead.
Hey, listen, I got a couple things to run past you guys.
All right, go ahead, man.
Hey, yeah, listen, there seems to be a lot of controversy with the referees in the Southeast Conference.
Okay.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, the SEC refs suck ass.
Certain games,
go ahead.
Yeah.
So here's what we do. And I know it's going to be a little strain on the game at first, but with the technology we got, why don't we eliminate the referees and have the game called?
The game called what now? What? Hold on, make sure that you want to call the game what? What was that? Go ahead. The game called what?
Instead of having referees, have a game called by video and computers, and have them tell us how the players are, the infractions the players are committing or aren't committing.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for what the what league did it? The AFL or one of those damn spring leagues? The eye in the sky kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm all against the whole. You only get a challenge here, like a strategy. Like the idea is get the call right. If you use a challenge up in the first quarter and they screw you again in the fourth quarter, well, you use a challenge up. Well, that's stupid. It's not my fault. You guys suck at your job. So there should be an eye in the sky that oversees things, and there shouldn't be like a challenge. The coach doesn't challenge anything. The eye in the sky goes, oh wait, hold on, that looks a little bit iffy. Let's go ahead and buzz down the referees. We're going to look at that real quick, and do it that way. But the SEC referee football are pretty bad. I will say this, though. Compared to SEC basketball referees, the SEC football referees are the best damn referees in the business. The SEC basketball referees are god-awful. Those people should not have a job. I don't know how they have a job. They are the worst organization of anything in the world. The college basketball refs in the SEC are horrible. The football refs, by comparison, look like they're competent, which isn't saying a whole lot.
All right, caller. That's a very interesting thing. Did you have something else? Okay. What the hell with this thing tonight? Anyway, yeah, I mean, Kale, what do you think of the SEC refs?
I mean, I guess.
I was thinking about what Kale was talking about and the traditional rivalries and all that would be lost if we put Missouri in the West and Alabama in the East. So we went back and rethought the situation, and he's right. And so now, rather than put Missouri in the West and Alabama in the East, put Alabama and Auburn in the East and put Missouri and Vandy in the West. Because geographically, that's how it sits. That's not what I want or what anybody else wants. That's the way it is. So, the league looks silly when you got Missouri in the East and you got, you don't even have it. I'll say this way. If you're going to call the East and West, well, you got to change that because it's not an East-West. Call it, which side would Alabama be? Call it the cheaters versus the cheated or something like that. I don't know, whatever. But, you got to get that right. So, did y'all catch that? Anyway?
Yeah, man, we caught that, buddy. Go ahead.
Listen, I tell you what, I'm going to leave y'all with a quick Aggie story, and then I'm going to let y'all go and do your show. And by the way, I want to compliment the show. It's a good deal y'all got going up there.
Appreciate that, buddy.
And anyway, the mascot for the Texas Longhorns is a Longhorn steer, and his name is Debo. And the way he got that name is Texas A&M beat the Longhorns one year 13-10. So some of the Aggies decided they'd go over to Austin and brand the score of the game on the cow. So they put 13-10 on his flank there, and they branded him. Well, the Longhorns couldn't deal with that, so they wouldn't change the 1 into a B and put an E in there and put the 1 into a V and left the O. And it got the nickname Bebo, and that stands to this day. So it's just a little Aggie trivia or whatever. But y'all think about that conference realignment. We really need that to happen. That makes us look silly when we're calling. We don't even got our directions right. So anyway, I'll hang up and I'll talk to y'all again sometime.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, listen, sports historically has issues with directions. We just talked about a second ago. The Atlanta Braves back in the day, for a long time, were in the National League
Played in the West.
Okay,
yeah,
and I kind of got used to that. Yeah,
it was you had the Braves in Cincinnati in the West, and you had St. Louis and Chicago in the East.
Yeah, and they did that because they wanted to keep the Cubs and Cardinals together because of the rivalry. So apparently they couldn't put them in the West because then you would have too many teams because you have the Dodgers and the Padres and Giants, and so all that stuff there too. But looking back though, that's the baseball I grew up with, that division alignment. Okay, that the Braves are in the West. And I kind of missed that in a way. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I miss the reason I liked it as a kid is that when we did get cable, I would sneak down late at night, watch the late night games, watch the Braves in San Diego, and watch those late night games on the West Coast. And so, but that's something that I thought of a second ago with the everything going on.
Well, there you go with that. Some comments from the folks there. South Carolina doesn't want any more competition in the East. Thank you for that, Keith. Mizzou just cashing the SEC check till a dump of a campus with an ACC stadium. Damn it. SEC dog is I lit him up a little while back, but we appreciate SEC dog joining the show. So good stuff on that. All right, well, gentlemen, I think we've done a good enough show this evening. You know what, though? On Sunday, guys, I want to put this out there. Going into the season, can we rank? I want to rank the SEC and the ACC teams from 1 to 28. So let's do that on Sunday.
Sounds
that'll
good.
Be fun. Okay. All right, Cale, appreciate you guys, man. And with that, the show is a wrap. All right, guys. Thanks so much, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
See you guys later. Comrade.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, let me. I'm gonna try the phone thing one more time. Do you have a quick second while you're sitting there? All right, hold on 1 second. This is annoying the shit out of me. Robin Cake Show forever. That's funny. Hold on a second. There we go. So that brings it in there. All right. Let me talk to Mike here. Hold on, Mike.
All right.
And Mike, hello.
What's up?
All right. Let me walk over here and make sure that because my microphone might be picking it up. So hold on a second. Let me walk over here. My microphone? Yeah, my mic. Can you still hear me, Mike?
Delta, the Yankees have not won a World Series in the last 10 years. So it's been 11 years now. So I'm not worried about the Yankees. And if they win this year, it doesn't really count because it's a little fake season, 48-game season where they're going to play. It doesn't matter.
I hear him over here. All right, hold on a second, Mike. Yeah, I got my thing screwed up here. Okay, Mike, hold on, okay?
Yep.
I'm trying to. There's like a different set of settings here, and I want to get it right. So give me just a minute, okay? That way we don't have to deal with it next time.
We'll go.
All right, so I don't know which one it is, though. That's the problem. Is it this one? All right, and check 1, 2. No? All right, let's try. Let's try that one. That's not it. Okay, hold on one second, Mike. Just
right.
Stay right there. All right, so you there? Oh, hold on a minute. Let me look at one other thing here. Oh, well, that's probably part of the problem there. Hold on, let's see here. Play back. Hold on. All right. Mike, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Let me walk up here. All right, can you still hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Alright.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, I appreciate you, buddy. Just bear with me a second, okay? Let me get this right, okay?
You're fine.
What?
You're fine.
All right. Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check. 1, 2. See, that should be feeding back to you. And you can hear me over there, right?
Yeah.
All right. 1 second. Try one more thing here. Hold on. So back to you. Not the ringer. That's the one we want. We want to do. Let's go here down on the bottom. Let's go to speakers. And what's up? All right, Mike, check 1, 2, 3.
I can hear you. It's low, but I can hear you.
All right, hold on. Let me walk over here. All right, can you hear me now? Hello, Mike. Yeah. All right, just one more second. Let me try one more setting here. Because we should be able to pipe right through with this and not have this problem. So let's try one more here. Let's go down to this one and check 1, 2. See, I can hear myself in my headset, but can you hear me over there? Mike, can you hear me over there?
Barely. If it's low, I can hear you.
All right, hold on, I'm gonna try one other thing here. Shit. Huh? What's up, baby? Yeah, I'm trying to fix my phones, honey. Hold on 1 second, okay? That's all right. Let's see here. Okay. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
When it rings, do you hear the ringing coming through to you? Like do you hear the boom, 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 boom? Do you hear that?
Not tonight I didn't, but last week I did though.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let's try one other thing here. Nope, that's not going to work. You're not going to be able to hear me there, right?
No.
Okay. So can you hear me over? Can you hear me talking on my phone right now? No. Okay. All right, hold on. Let's try it now. Hold on. Let's see here. Why is it doing that? One more thing here. Boom, boom, feeding. All right, playback, and recording. And we're sending levels down on the recording. Good night, Jaden. Okay. And check 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let me walk over here. Can you hear me at all? No. Okay.
But Jinsky went to the Pirates number 30.
Yeah, that's a good pickup for them. Oh, look, we gotta end the broadcast here. Let me end this broadcast.
IGA,